It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the GTUK F1 podcast. I'm joined by my co-host, David.
Hey, everyone.
So,
What should I say? Ole.
so obviously, before we start, basically, wherever you get your podcasts, you know the usual drill. Don't forget that they're coming out on a Wednesday at 3 o'clock, when there is a race.
Which is the next freaking 3 weeks. Thanks, F1 Management, for that one.
Yeah. So, the Gran Premio de España, in other words, Spain.
Barcelona.
Yes.
The last year we've got Barcelona, is it not?
2025.
Oh, 26 that Madrid takes over.
Yeah. Well, there might be a rotation between Madrid and Barcelona at some point.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So obviously, didn't see FP1, FP2, or FP3, unfortunately. Heard there was a little ding-dong, though, in practice 3 between Hamilton and Stroll and Norris and Leclerc. Which...
Yeah, I mean, like I said, once again, I didn't see. We're getting back to the old days of freaking Vettel and Hamilton at Baku.
But I don't understand. This is what I mean. I kind of didn't understand it. Because it's like, why does everybody just seem to be losing their temper over things? It's not like it was qualifying. Christ, if they'd have done that in qualifying, they'd have been grid place penalties heading their way.
Oh, yeah.
But Hamilton admitted that he didn't see Stroll. But apart from Hamilton not seeing, it's the team's job to let him know that Stroll was approaching quick. But Stroll... I watched the onboards, and Stroll basically drives into Hamilton. You know what I mean? He goes to take the corner, but then lets off the steering.
Right,
Leclerc literally pulled in front of Norris, pulls alongside Norris, sort of brake checks him, hits his front, and then basically fucks off. It's just like, what the actual hell is going on? And then Max got summoned to the stewards for a impeding signs, but couldn't really do much because he was caught up with the incident between Leclerc and Norris.
right.
So he was then out of sync, which was a knock-on effect, which screwed Sainz over. It was just
Bit of a shit show, really.
It was a bit. So, yeah. So, obviously, we're just going to go straight into qualifying, so this one will be possibly a little bit shorter than normal. Obviously,
Famous last words.
Perez had his 3-place grid penalty that he'd carried over
based on from Canada, from driving the car back in dangerous condition.
I mean, Q1 was very mixed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the usual suspects out, really, isn't it? I mean, the RB seem to have gone backwards again after 11 showing, but, the two Williams and then Albon actually changed power units, didn't he? So that's why he started from the pit lane.
Yeah.
So they must have thought there was a problem, or they just took the opportunity because we're last.
But
let's stick a new power unit in the pool.
Yet again, I mean, Guan Yu Zhou barely scraped through Q1. K-Mag out in Q1. Whereas Hulkenberg managed to get through to Q2. Hulkenberg seems to be able to push that Haas a little bit more.
He seems to be getting more out of it right now, doesn't he? Maybe the car just suits his driving style more. Or...
Yeah, compared to...
I mean, that'd be the reason why he's the one who's got the slightly better drive with Sauber next year.
Yeah. You know.
I know better subjective in that context, but...
Compared to K-Mag.
Yeah, as far as we're aware, he's not driving next year.
No. I mean, obviously the rumour mill, slightly off tangent, rumour mill is going crazy that apparently Behrman might be going into the Haas. But...
I've heard one or two interesting ones, well, that's for another time.
And, you know, Bottas did well. Alonso didn't do too bad. Piastri managed to get himself through to Q2.
Well, because I'm looking at because Q3 had a DNS, we got through to Q3 and then just didn't set a time.
Yeah, he got Q3, he didn't. He ended up, I think he ended up aborting the lap. He got a bit... He did go out and then tried to set a lap and basically went for an explore. And then...
did an Albon.
Yeah. He did an explore and then yeah, he just hit it and... I mean, he couldn't have... That was the thing. At the point that it happened, he couldn't have done any worse.
I mean, getting to Q3, he still tied 10th, which was going to become a 9th because of obviously Perez's penalty, so he still wasn't exactly in a bad position for it.
No. I mean, the rocket up Alpine's ass to have them both in Q3.
Is that the Flavio effect?
Well...
And I cannot believe I'm saying that. Of all the names I thought I'd never hear around F1 again.
That's definitely...
And before somebody starts, yes, I know his ban got overturned. Whether it should have been or not is another debate.
Is he basically meaning me there? I'm wondering.
No.
Because I would have turned around and said that.
I could have imagined the comments, you know, but... Yeah, his ban got overturned, but like I say, I'm not sure I agree that it should have been overturned, because at the end of the day, I'm sure if you're listening to this, you're an F1 fan, you know of the history, it's the story. If you don't,
look up
Flavio Briatore on...
Look up Crashgate.
You will find out Fernando Alonso's into it up to his Spanish little neck, but...
Yeah.
Basically, it was a dark time in F1 that nobody wants to go back to.
Oh, long story short, one teammate crashed to help the other one out. But it was under team orders, his orders.
Yeah,
that's what he got banned.
He was banned from ever having anything to do with F1 again.
Because he was team manager at the time. Yeah, he got banned for it. To be honest, when I saw that he was back in F1, I just went, here we fucking go.
I checked the calendar next year, it wasn't April 1st. When I saw that news article.
Well, I was watching it. I ended up watching it and I saw the interview with like Craig Slater and everything.
I think the grid war ended up talking to him briefly. I actually wasn't overly. I only caught the last few minutes of it because it wasn't Martin this time.
No, it was
Karun and a female whose name I never caught.
Is it not Bernie?
I don't think it was Bernie, was it? I didn't think it was.
Was it Natalie?
No, it was. I would have recognised Natalie. It might have been Bernie. I didn't recognise. I don't know, but it didn't sound Irish.
I think it was Karun and Bernie that did the grid walk.
Could have been just me then. But
strategist
Aston
for
Martin
Aston Martin
engineer.
and Racing Point.
oh, Aston Martin preview before the Aston mine.
Well, she was Checo's strategist at one
Yeah.
point. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, what's he doing? What? That's
You and me both, mate. You and me, bloody both.
that's almost as bad as this is gonna. Don't want to go off too much for tangent, but that's almost as bad as
Too late.
I know. That's almost as bad as Max Mosley going back into the FIA.
I was about to say that. Next, we're going to hear that Mosley's returned. That was literally going to be my next gag. You know, Mosley's just stepped his way back into the office.
Oh no, that would be a dark time for F1.
Good news, everyone. Bernie's back in charge.
Oh
What?
jeez. But let's not derail ourselves too much. What did you think of Merck's performance?
Surprising better than they have been. I think a bigger surprise to Ferrari. I think we're pretty convinced they had the match for them up until the point they didn't.
Yeah.
Also seeing... Are you talking just quali here or the race in general?
Just quali.
So again, you know... I mean, also, I think for the first time for a while that Hamilton's had the leap on
George.
George, really?
Not by much. Because Hamilton's time was 1:11.701, George was 7:03. Not a lot. I mean,
Enough.
I thought, when Max got pole, I thought, Max has got it. Then
Lando.
I was like, ooh, but Lando's not finished yet. Then I saw Lando's times, I was like, ooh, he could get him. He could pip him. And he bloody did, didn't he? Absolute stellar lap.
I have voted by two one hundredths of a second by my count.
Max was 1:11.403, Lando was 1:11.38.
Yeah, 2 100ths of a second.
Yeah. And
Great. Yeah, that McLaren's got pace. We know that McLaren is now
we
on
know
form.
that. Perez started 11th.
His penalty, yep.
That's funny. His numbers are...
I like as well that they gave Logan Sargent a 3-pace penalty for impeding when he started last anyway.
Yeah, I know. Wait, he didn't know, did he? Albon did.
Well, Albon started from the pit lane.
Yeah.
So
But,
Sargent was still the last of the runners on the grid.
yeah. It's a shame. Shame there's no rule. Technically, he should either have a 2-place or a 1-place grid penalty carried over.
I've told you if that was the case, the McLarens would still be suffering from that year Alonso drove.
But I think, like I said, I don't... It makes me sound like I'm hating on Sargent, but his days are done. He's not performing at all.
We're not hating on him. We've said it in here before with this, but it's just, yeah. This is where we go back to my comments in the past about getting some of these young lads through. And like, you know, the guys that not put Albon is proving what that car can do.
Yeah, when it works.
And sadly, Sargent isn't now. I'm ready for him to come along and prove me wrong. You know what I mean? But it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've said the same as a couple of other drivers. Well, there's certainly one other driver I can think of who I put in the same category.
Stroll.
That will be the one, yes.
But yeah, it's but it's going back to the two. I forget his name. Latifi. Going back to like the Latifi days as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. I just think you get to the point where, like I say, we know there's lads with real potential. Just below F1 level.
Yep.
And I mean, you could easily throw the same comment to the likes of Alonso, as much as we like him. To be still there at his age, he's kind of seat blocking.
No. Stroll seat blocking. Leave Alonso in there. Alonso's got the experience.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. The difference is his performance sort of at least is a token as to why he should be there. But
yeah. But we could say the same about Danny Ricciardo.
Danny, you could almost stick Perez in that category at the moment if he doesn't pick up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what it is for Perez at the minute.
No.
So let's move on to the start of the race. Well, that could have gone bad. It could have gone badly.
Could have gone badly, yeah. Max ended up literally turning two wheels on the grass.
Only because Norris pushed him over.
Yeah.
Norris.
But what I want to kind of more talk about than that is, where the frick did Russell come from?
Yeah. Slipstream round the outside.
Yeah, but he managed to actually hold on to it.
Oh, yeah.
The speed he hit that corner, I thought there's no way in hell he's making that corner.
Yeah, but
and the Merc just gripped.
He was on the cleaner side of the grid.
Oh yeah, no, I get how it happened. It's just like I say, it was one of those. It was like, wow, where did that one come from?
Yeah, it was just like, what? And it. Okay, don't get me wrong. I like Lando, but he needs to.
I think even he admitted at the end of the race that he knows he got that start wrong.
Yeah, but it's not that. He needs to slightly step his ego back a bit.
I think I literally actually cut the TV off as they were playing his team radio at the end of the race. And there were some words like, I know I beeped that one up.
Yeah. He got a bad start.
Yeah.
But
tried to and to be honest, he almost wasted too much time trying to defend from Max.
Yeah, he shouldn't have.
And it's something I can be guilty of, especially when we're racing with like Alan and that. Sometimes it's better not just let him pass, because you're probably going to slipstream on him anyway.
Yeah, and that's what screwed him as well. The fight with Max allowed the likes of Hamilton to come up, and well, as you saw, Russell round the outside.
Because what it does is it pushes them off the race, because the racing line's down the outside.
Yeah.
So it pushed them off the racing line, which then means that they're losing grip, they're losing drag. And then, as you say, the likes of Russell and Hamilton behind were able to pick the line they actually wanted.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very, very bold move from Russell, though.
Oh, it was. Like I say, I didn't think it was going to work, I'll be honest. I thought he was going to end up off the outside of turn one.
Yeah.
So I didn't think the Merc would have enough grip to hold that much speed.
Yeah.
But it did, and
it did.
For a lap or so.
And then Max got back first.
Which was kind of always going to happen there, but at least he gave it a go.
He tried.
But
no, like I said, Norris, I like Norris. I do like Norris. But yeah, after seeing him the way he was, he needs to just give his head a little bit of a wobble and come back a bit.
He's had the first win now. He's got that monkey off his back.
Yeah, but now He wants more.
No, he needs to settle down a little. And he
That's
wants
his
more, yeah.
problem. He's eager to get more, but by him getting this, he's getting this little bit of an ego that's coming through and making him look not so in a good light. Really, it's a bit like what Max used to be. That's what I'm getting the sense of. A little bit of a feeling from Lando.
I know what you're saying.
I get it. It'll be his adrenaline. It'll be heat of the moment, but, you know.
Sometimes take a step back, think about it. Like I say, if he'd have let Max go, he'd have probably been able to still be in DRS range when he activated a lap later.
Yeah. And he, you know, I mean, granted, it wasn't a bad race, but it wasn't.
It wasn't it wasn't the exciting Spain we can sometimes get, was it? I mean, we had one yellow flag, which was an Albon through to the scene, which is what I alluded to in the qualifying roundup.
Did it have a yellow flag?
I assume that got a quick yellow, but basically the point I'm making is there was no
safety cars.
We were told there was a 20% chance of rain that never materialised, although there was some dark clouds over the place.
Yeah. But yeah, Yuki didn't have a particularly good race.
But both the RBs kind of went backwards off the start a little bit, didn't they, from what I saw. We didn't know how far back they started. It's almost an achievement, but... Yeah, I feel Perez didn't cut through the field like we really expected him to. Did he not do 4 pit stops as well?
Yeah.
In the end.
That's the problem. They only list. No, it's only listing him as 3 pit stops.
Or was it 3 to everyone else's 2? Sorry, is that where I'm getting mad?
Yeah, he's the only one. Apart from... Did Oscar stop again?
I don't know. But
yeah, he did.
They always say that Spain is the marker for the season, don't they? Spain is like the default track.
Yeah.
Now, based on that weekend, yeah, things aren't as... This isn't one of the years where Red Bull run away with it 1,000,000 miles an hour.
They're definitely not gonna, considering that Norris was only, what, 2.2?
I think if the race had been a couple of laps longer, we could have been a slightly different result.
Yeah.
Honestly. But, yeah, we sort of saw Red Bull, the gap's definitely closed. It's just freaking annoying that the gap's definitely closed just before the regulation changes.
Yep. Well, Red Bull will have a bit of CFD and wind tunnel come back to him now. Because that reset on 20... Was it 20th of June it reset?
Yeah, but they're still leading the championship, aren't they? They still have the least time of any one team.
Yeah, where's Norris in the driver's standings these days?
Second.
Exactly.
He just grabbed second, didn't he, at this race?
Yep. He's 2 points ahead of Leclerc.
Yeah, but does it go off drivers? You just go off total team?
No, in driver standings.
No, I mean that wind tunnel allowance and that.
What, the wind tunnel is all teams?
Yeah, the CFD time.
Yeah, it's all teams.
Yeah, but it'll go off the team championship standings, not the drivers.
No, I know, but I'm saying Red Bull get their the reset. Gets a reset, so...
Yeah.
But no, in the drivers' standings, Norris is only 2 points clear of Leclerc at the moment.
Yeah, no, it's what we want, nice and close at this point. Unless you're a Red Bull fan, I guess you're probably not too happy, but
Yeah, but I'm both.
The chaotic neutral over here, like me, is actually quite enjoying it, not being a complete whitewash.
Yeah, but that's the problem. I'm both, so it doesn't bother me either way. But it's just...
You're like that old Marge Simpson joke, aren't you? Can I not bet that all the horses have a good time?
I mean, there's a chance McLaren can actually take second in constructors. If they keep carrying on and Ferrari do not so good on points, McLaren could catch them.
Well, Ferrari seems to spend most of this race falling over each other.
Oh, yeah, I know. It just...
I mean, I understand Sainz is out to try and prove a point, but I think maybe that move on Leclerc was a little short-sighted.
Let them fight.
Yeah, let them fight, but have some ability to think, well, we don't want to end up taking both cars out, and then for Ferrari to swap them over at Sainz's home Grand Prix, I thought was kind of brave.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the same with... It was the same with the Mercs.
The difference is one of the Merc drivers isn't a Spaniard.
No. But it's going to come interesting come Silverstone. Tell you that for now.
But that's about what it was. Was it just me, or was there seemed to be 2 or 3 more than usual slow pit stops this race?
Seemed to be a lot of
Seems to
pits.
be a problem with sticking wheel nuts.
Yeah. Quite a few
Problem
pit
with
stop
sticking wheel
troubles.
nuts for 2 or 3 teams.
Mercedes.
Mercedes had one, McLaren had one, didn't they? Which is kind of what further screwed Norris over.
Was it Norris?
He had a 3 point something second there. And so was Norris, it was a 3 point, something like 3.6 seconds
it
for
was.
Norris.
It was his
He's having his second
rear.
stop because one of the tyres didn't want to go on.
Yeah, the right rear. I mean,
we don't seem to, since Sauber have got their act together, we haven't seen a lot of that, and it seems to just be
other teams.
back a little bit. Yeah.
Well, it probably didn't help with the heat as well.
Possibly not.
You got to think it was, what was it, weather-wise?
Blooming hot. It's blooming hot here right now.
Don't tell me about it. It's supposed to be 22 Wednesday.
I saw 25 today.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's about 27 degrees out in Barcelona at the moment.
Maybe it was heat, but there seemed to be, there was literally 2 or 3 that I noticed of botched pit stop, shall we say.
Yeah. Merc, McLaren, Alpine.
Red Bull did another 1.9 second in amazing fashion. Which they always look impressive, don't they? Because the car literally goes up on jacks, back down, done. It's like blinking, you'll miss it territory.
Yeah, but the problem is, they tried to slow them down. This was the thing. This was the whole point of this, like, wheel gun bollocks with all the lights and everything.
But the trouble is, every time the FIA tried to slow F1 down, the engineers find a way around it. That's the engineer's job.
Yeah, and clearly they found a way around for that pit stop. That was ridiculous.
Funny, I was listening to another podcast end of last week now, and they were talking about the next year's regulation change, 2026's regulations, and they were talking about how because the cars are going to get quite a bit smaller, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they're going to have active DRS on the front and rear wings. I don't know if you've read a lot into this yet.
Not yet. Active DRS?
Basically, they're going to have DRS, but it's not going to be in set zones, it's going to be all lap.
That's just going to sound like frigging push to pass.
But the other thing is, because this is actually Bernie Collins was on it, they'll talk about how they're adding all these moving parts. They also want the cars to be 50 kilos lighter.
Yeah. But
because you're adding a lot of moving parts. they're necessarily going to be heavier. You know, a wing that has to move around is going to be heavier than one that doesn't.
Yeah. Which it's kind of a little bit of a stump because it's like.
I mean, she turned around and said, "Bring back refueling," because that'd be a way to lighten the cars. Which gave me actually a really interesting idea.
They won't do it.
Which is F1 cars are now allowed 100 kilos of fuel, aren't they? For a race.
Yeah.
What if you made that 75?
Oh.
No refueling, but
yeah.
you've got to do the race on 75 kilos.
You're going to have to shorten the fucking laps.
No, leave the laps where they are. You have to make that engine more efficient.
Regardless of making the engine efficient, 75 kilos, or I don't know. What's the longest?
For 66 laps, like Spain we've just had. No, let's just take, because each race is meant to be roughly the same distance, isn't it?
Supposed to be.
The laps dictate roughly this. It's impossible to be exact. So yeah, at the moment they've got 100 kilos to 75 laps of Spain. In my 2026 rules, you got 75 to do it with. The only caveat is they will get more power from hybrid from 26.
But
so you'll have hybrid, so you're gonna have to detune the engine. You have to literally detune the engine to make it more efficient. That gives the engineers something to ponder over.
Yeah, but
and by making the cars lighter, they're going to naturally be more efficient because they're not lugging the same weight around.
Yeah, but then you've got the limit. Then you've got the limitations of fuel saving. How much are they going to fuel save? How much are they not going to be at a race? Yep.
There's no reason they can't make an engine that can do it, other than we don't want to because the engines would be slower. There's literally no reason that it can't be done.
Well, no, probably not.
Heck.
It's 1,000 horsepower at the moment, isn't it?
Heck, my car, your car, would probably, the one that you're getting, will probably do those 66 laps on about 20 kilos of fuel.
Well, we probably would.
Don't get me wrong, damn sight slower. But the point I'm making is they want to make them more efficient and save weight. Do that. And you would throw the engineers a good head scratcher.
Me probably would.
So if you want to vote for me for the FIA president, folks, just send your email to yeshecandoit@gtuk.com.
Or email. And we'll go through.
Best thing is he has to think, does he have to create all these emails?
No.
Yeah, that was just me. That was just based on, because like I said, the way it's talking.
I don't know, that's the thing. You wouldn't know where to begin. Dog.
That's simple. Dog.
Yeah. Dog. I apologise if you can hear a dog barking in the podcast. But obviously I've got my window open, so it's a case of...
That's our new co-host, Rover.
You know, it's a case of there's not a lot of being able to control somebody else's dog. But...
No, but anyway... No, it would be very easy. See, you have to make the car burn less fuel. That's actually not that difficult to do.
It still makes you laugh.
You do it and still go as quick as you want it to.
I know, but it still makes you laugh at the fact that you said they've got active DRS on the front and back. On the front wing and the back wing, and it's like, well, it's a ground effect car. Isn't that going to just create a little bit of drag at the front?
Well, no, that's the whole point of the matter. Apparently, this is where I haven't read the exact details, so somebody with an engineering sort of knowledge will be able to outdo me on this. But basically, because the hybrid is going to be giving more power, they're also losing the NGUKH, which is the one that takes power from the heat of the turbo.
Yeah.
So they're asking more power from the batteries, and it's all got to come from the kinetics.
Which would be an absolute recipe for disaster.
I don't know. It's interesting. I like these kind of things that give engineers.
Yeah, no, but I'm still imagining an F1 car doing a 360 backflip because it's not been tested properly. I mean, we see that in this generation of car. Almost.
But yeah. So yeah, so basically the active delay is going to be because the cars are going to need to produce the cars. The time of the cars produce less drag, and then they're going to add it back in using the kinetic energy.
Yeah, well,
From what I can gather, I haven't read it in detail. No doubt you go down and read it. You go off now and read the freaking technical notes.
I'll probably have a look at it and see what's what, but that won't be till later on, later, after we've finished whatever we're doing.
But
But,
so
I mean,
anyway, back to the race. As I drag us off on a tangent.
you did. I mean, yeah, it wasn't, like I say, it wasn't a very exciting race. It was getting interesting towards the end, though. Because I was thinking, oh, will Lando actually get marks?
I actually always thought Red Bull have done this before. I think Max will have had enough extra in the tank if he needed just to see him off.
I think he did.
You know what I mean? If he'd have got within sort of a second and a half, I think you'd just seen the Red Bull kick up a notch.
I think he was definitely saving.
Oh yeah.
Because he could match Lando and keep him
Hmm.
for a while. So he was definitely saving tyres and he was definitely saving, he was saving a bit of battery. Shall we have a look at the Fantasy League?
No, we've got to the end of the race. The top three was Max, Lando, Lewis,
and Hamilton.
We had no DNFs.
No.
Although Sargent was 2 laps down.
Yuki
19th wasn't amazing. Daniel 15th.
Basically, everybody got lapped up towards, apart from like Hulkenberg.
Yeah, top 11. I believe fastest lap went to Norris. I believe driver of the day went to Norris as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Fantasy League.
Yeah, give me a second. Why do I get the feeling I'm about to get screwed?
Well, I'm saying nothing, boy.
Shit. Yeah. Williams well and truly screwed me.
I tell you what, for all we talked about it, Ryan's team is now proving to be a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I got done by Alan as well, but only just. But the one thing I noticed, none of us had any negatives.
No.
None of us had any negative
numbers at all.
Which I think that's after the rarity of the other month where Alan got the only ever negative total score I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen us ever get all positive points.
No.
Just you got far less than everybody else.
And I'm in third.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you've been done by Ryan.
I've been done.
And he's wow.
What?
Look at the gap between you and Alan.
Yep.
Go on, read it out to the people at home who may be listening, not watching. What is that gap?
A point.
1 point. 1 point.
I need to do some changes. I need to.
Again, I'm not sure I could get my team a lot better. That's the thing. I'm not sure what I could actually do to.
I need to swap a driver out.
I actually did a couple of swaps a couple of races ago, which appear to have done me the world of good.
But yeah, no, that's. Fuck!
I'm soundbiting that one.
Oh, that's not good.
So yeah, folks, it's getting very interesting here.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to
I mean, my gap's been closed from what it looks. I was nearly 500 clear of you.
Yeah,
In
but
fact, I'm 400 clear of you.
yeah, but you're not that. I'd be worried about Ryan now, David.
I'm not worried. He's going to be what he's going to be, isn't it? Let's see. I mean, I can't work out how Lando scored more points than Max.
He got 10 for driver of the day.
Driver of the day, and I'm guessing more overtakes and stuff like that.
He got 18 for race position, 10 for qualifying. He got
-1 for race position.
For race position.
Driver of the day and fastest lap earning 20 points. There we go. I put it from 31 to 51. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, driver of the day. So he got 30 points.
That's what I'm saying. He got 10 points for driver of the day and 10 points for fastest lap.
Yeah.
So that's 20 he got that Max didn't. So that's where the difference. That's what was confusing me. I couldn't work out how he could have got more points than the winner, but he's those two.
Yes, because he got driver of the day and Jesus. Oh well. So, anything else you wanna say before we finish?
No, just as you say, we seem to be hitting a rut right now with not overly interesting races.
Well, we've got Austria and Silverstone to come. So hopefully,
yeah, I know.
Hopefully they provide some good racing. Silverstone.
Yeah, we could do with it because the last couple haven't been. I don't know. Maybe I'm on my own. Maybe you disagree, but
nah, Spain wasn't as good as it could be. Need to be better. It was not great. I mean, obviously, you know, we had the likes of Canada. Canada was good, but not great.
yeah,
Monaco was just, well, Monaco.
Monaco's Monaco. Yeah, I never include that.
Yeah. It seemed to start getting. It got interesting from China. China to Miami, China, Miami, and Imola were interesting. Then Monaco just went, and then
yeah.
But it is you know, it's been a mixture. Obviously, you had Max Perez, Sainz, Max Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Leclerc, Norris. So that's when Norris first started appearing on the podium. Japan was Max Perez, Sainz, Max Norris, Perez, Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, Verstappen, Norris, Leclerc, Piastri and Sainz, Verstappen, Norris and Russell. That's weird. Yeah, Verstappen, Norris and Russell, Verstappen, Norris, Hamilton. Yeah, I hope Austria literally brings some better racing as well as like Silverstone. I mean, Hungary is going to be a bit meh. Spa might be a bit depends. It might get a bit interesting. If Norris wins Zandvoort, he won't get out of there alive. Because you know what the Orange Army are like there.
Oh, aye.
Then we've got Monza. But then we've still got the awkward gap. So we basically, after Belgium,
it's these last like 2 or 3 and then someone breaking it.
Yeah. Then we've got a massive gap again after Singapore.
Yeah, we said that. We were talking about that last week, I do recall.
Yeah. So we'll see how the season pans out this year. You know, towards the end of the later stage of the season, it might get interesting. It might not. But
aye.
Yeah. So we shall see you next time for Austria. Obviously, thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to David for joining.
Pleasure as always.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, why not go check out the YouTube and Twitch? You can find the links for them at the top of the podcast and wherever else you get your podcast from. And we shall see you for the next one. So until then, I want his helmet.
Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye for now.